All right, here's another video about finding the new 5 key points to graph a transformation of a sine or cosine function. So again, the base function here is cosine. So I'm over here. If you think of the 5 key points, normally we'd have 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And again, those are just, the key points along the 4 spots on the unit circle, and of course coming back here. So those are where you get those 5 key points. And then of course this is a duplicate. And for cosine, remember the cosine function starts high and then it goes mid, low. So it starts like a cup shape and goes from there. All right. So the high is the start at 1, then mid, then low, then mid, then high. Those are the traditional 5 key points. And so we want to do a transformation on those 5 key points. So what's in here is what impacts is your angle, because again, cosines, the input is an angle. The output is the ratio, so that part affects that. All right, so first of all, you have to remember to factor this. This tells you nothing in the form it is. So I'm going to factor that. So I need to take a 5 out. And so what you need to do is make sure there's a factor of 5 in here. Now, right now, there isn't a factor of 5 to take out. So I'm going to multiply this by 5 on top. Get a little thinner here. So I'm going to take this times 5 on top and this times 5 on bottom. All right, which is basically 5 pi over 10. And so then that's something that I could factor. All right, so when I factor, I get f of x equals a negative 3 cosine. There's my bracket. I'm going to factor out the 5. Then I get x minus, now when I factor out this 5, it just comes out of the numerator, right? Because that's where the 5 is coming from. And so I get what? Pi over 10. And then I still have my minus 2 there. And I'm going to erase this so I have one more space. All right. So you can double check when do the distributive property. That's 5. That'd be a half. So that's good. All right. So now I can tell everything that this function has. It has an amplitude of 3. Remember, it's absolute value. Now the negative 3 is going to flip this guy around, right? So instead of going high, mid, low, high, and back up, it's going to flip it up, right? So that's what that's going to do. The minus 2 back here is going to be a vertical shift. So it's going to make it the graph go down too. Now the 5 here is going to affect the period. So it's going to get done 5 times faster. So instead of 2 pi over 5 or 2 pi, it's going to be 2 pi divided by 5. And then here the phase shift is a positive pi over 10. But again, it has to be in factored form. Sometimes people look here, that doesn't do you any good. All right, so I want to find my 5 new key points. So the stuff that impacts the x is right in there. And so that is what I'm going to do to my angle, right? This input right here is going to be impacted by that. Actually, I'm going to highlight that too, maybe if I can. There we go. All right, so now let's go back and do the math. The first thing is this is going to impact your period, so you're going to divide by 5, all right, and then you're going to do the phase shift, which is adding pi over 2, or 10, because it's whatever causes that to be 0. So to the right, pi over 10, and then this. Now again, instead of dividing by 5, since we're typically dealing with fractions, we're going to multiply by a fifth, and then we're going to add the pi over 10. So I'm going to take 0 times 1 over 5 plus pi over 10. I'm going to take pi over 2 times 1 over 5 plus pi over 10. I'm going to take pi times 1 over 5 plus pi over 10. I'm going to take 3 pi over 2 times a fifth plus pi over 10. And then I'm going to take 2 pi times 1/5 plus pi over 10. Now again, remember the x value is more work than the y, which is good news. This is 0, so I get pi over 10. This is what? Pi over 10 plus pi over 10, so I get what? 2 pi over 10, which reduces to what? Pi over 5. Over here I get pi over 5. Let me do that over here. Pi over 5 plus pi over 10. Again, to add those, you need a common denominator. So I'm going to double and double. So I get 2 pi plus pi all over 10. So what is that? 3 pi over 10. This one, I get 3 pi over 10 plus pi. So that's what? 4 pi over 10. All right, and that reduces to what? 2 pi over 5. And then the last one is what? 2 pi over 5 plus pi over 10. Oh, sorry about that. And then again, I need to get a common denominator. So times 2 times 2. So 4 pi plus pi is 5 pi over 10, which reduces to what? Pi over 2. All right, so my new chart would have these values. So pi over 10, pi over 5. I don't know if I can write small enough. 3 pi over 10. I'm just going to have to come over here. 2 pi over 5 and pi over 2. Those are all of my x values. Now, to get my y values, I just do the -3 and the -2 to these guys, all right? And so to do that, and I know I'm getting low on power here. So to get the y values, I'm going to multiply by -3 and -2. All right, so I'm going to do, I think this is green, we'll find out here. All right, so a -3 minus 2 is a -5. -3 is 0, so that one's a -2. Negative times negative is a +3, minus 2 is 1. Over here, where am I at? 0, so -2. And then my last y value is 1, -3 minus 2 is -5. Now notice it goes low, mid, high, mid, low, which makes sense because of what we did there. All right, so these are the 5 new key points, and again, I could put order pairs around them because I didn't have space to make the XY chart, that you would graph to graph the transformation of this function. Hope this helps.